about her and having her there that was kind of intimidating.
What was your relationship towards it, Paul?
Well, you have to understand, like, the doll, Bianca, is extremely lifelike. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a state-of-the-art piece of work, you know? I mean, like, it's like a Ron Mueck sculpture, you know what I mean? It's like dead seriously super realistic.
So you do feel it in the room because in that way you would feel one of those sculptures. I mean,
absolutely. Have you seen his stuff? Okay, it's really a strange experience.
You actually feel that stuff before you go into the room, that presence of that.
Absolutely, and also, you know, what Craig had done on set is he had people handling Bianca in a wheelchair, and as much as Ryan wanted to sort of be her chaperone from when we moved from like one room to the next to be shooting and all that, it was like. I mean, I guess the way that we make ourselves comfortable with a subject like this is to be sort of bawdy and vulgar and laugh about it. But honestly, like you have to understand, like on set, it's like sort of being around a mirror all the time. And if you're in front of a mirror, you kind of like sort of stand a little taller and sort of, because she's just silent. I mean, she's inanimate, you know. She's just going to be there quiet. So, you know, for my character, she was kind of like reflecting my faults more harshly back at me, and so because I had a different relationship to Bianca than obviously Ryan or Emily, I stayed quite a bit away from Bianca. I didn't want to see how real she was. I didn't want to touch her, or you know, because she's actually a sort of a state-of-the-art piece of really fantastic sort of, you know, engineering to make this thing. But I really wanted to stay away from it so that when Craig rolled camera on Emily and I's reaction to the actual doll, when my little brother has brought this thing in thinking that it's a missionary, I wanted there to be some semblance of truth in that reaction. And I feel like the specific tone of the script that was so important for all of us to try to maintain was brought by the fact that, you know, we have this, you know, almost like she's almost like bait for an audience. You know, you come and see that, but then hopefully our reactions to it are as honest as possible. And then you have some kind of interesting interplay there between something that could be taken into National Lampoon's land, but instead I feel like my job was to sort of try to act as honestly towards this thing as I could. And you know, Emily is exactly right that she did have a presence. I mean, I never had scenes with her alone, and I can't imagine what Ryan was doing in the preparing for scenes like that. But you know, for me, it was you know, everyone needed to calibrate their distance from Bianca to find out like how truthful they need to be and to find that relationship within themselves.
What was it like for you, Kelly?
I was really jealous of the doll. Because my character, I truly fell in love with Lars. So it was really hard. I mean, it was also interesting because Craig, as a director, gave me the option as an actor if I wanted to make this doll real in my head or not. And I guess I was having trouble trying to come up with an answer for that, and then I realized, well, that's my answer. It was a struggle for my character because I wanted to make it real for the sake of Lars, because at least in my head, my character understood him and felt a lot for him. So I wanted that choice. But at the same time, as a normal 23-year-old girl, she's fake, you know. There's no life there. She's non-existent. I mean, she's a thing, and she's definitely special for him. So I was really jealous of her, but that's fine. She's really beautiful too. So.
Patty?
God, you guys had very complicated relationships. And are we partying later?
Yes, please.
Okay. No, you know, Elvis, honestly, I think, maybe because of my character, I had kind of an objectivity, but I kind of sat back and watched everybody. It's so funny, I think the energy off camera, you know, translates on, and everyone's relationship off camera with the doll was very existent on camera, so it was kind of great for the movie and a great energy on set, because everyone had this amazing relationship, however they wanted to define it, with Bianca. And it kind of, it was there at all times. When the camera was rolling, when the camera wasn't rolling, maybe late at night when no one was looking, I don't know. You know what I mean? It was, no. But I mean, it was just, so it was interesting. And I kind of just observed it, and I found it actually very helpful and quite charming to see everyone's relationship to it. So,
No question.
This whole discussion has me an image of you taking turns running lines with Bianca, saying, "Okay, it's my turn. She come to my trailer." Alan Silverman from Hollywood Bites and News Talk Radio. The question I have is for the cast members, to get your sense of why the characters were so willing, the characters in the town were so willing to go along with this, because I think that keeps it from teetering over the edge of the ooh factor, when you realize that everyone cares so much for Lars that they're willing to do this, we're willing to put up with this ruse. And I'm wondering what each of your sense is of why that is, what the relationship is that they're willing to go that way.
I think that's a good question. I think it speaks to Nancy's credit and to the uniqueness of the film, because I think what really makes this film so special is that it really believes in people. And I don't think it's necessarily that they want to help, maybe they want to help Lars or they don't, but I think that it recognizes people's need to be a part of something that's special and to have stories to tell and to be connected to something and to have something unusual happen to them in their lives, you know. And I think that most, you know, like I think of a film like Edward Scissorhands, which I love. It's an amazing film, but that in a way it's kind of pessimistic view of people, and that they can't really be around with anything special. They have to kind of have their way with it, and then ultimately they'll taint something that's pure, which is true as well. You know, I think that's not one ultimate truth. That's a side of it. But I think that Nancy kind of, and I don't mean to speak for you, but one of the things that I thought was so special about it was that it really believed in people, and it believed that people wanted to be, that are inherently good.
I think that that's true, and that's what, as you said, is so. One of the things that's so surprising and cool about the movie is that you think when this sex doll is introduced that it's going to be a question of this poor guy having to deal with the sort of judging society, and in fact it isn't that at all. And there's something really subversive about that, actually, that it then becomes about everybody's, and I think Paul really hits on it, that there's something about this doll that makes you look at yourself. You know, your initial reaction is sort of fear and confusion, and then you can't help but there's something about the impassivity of that person that makes you kind of go into yourself and question everything, and I think that happens to all the characters, including the community. You know, that we all somehow, that all the issues and problems in our own lives are brought to the surface by the introduction of this person, and it's about everybody coming to terms with that rather than an outsider dealing with a sort of judging society.
And it's on, just real quickly, on set it mirrored what was happening in the film. You could see that people over the course of shooting started to develop relationships with her too. You know, the focus puller would take her focus, and if he was too close to her eye, he'd apologize. You know, and they didn't even realize that he was doing it. You know, the handlers would give her magazines in between shots, and everybody slowly started to love her. I mean, it happened. You know, and we're being really like reverential right now as we talk about it. It's probably kind of funny from the outside, but you know, I guarantee you, if you spent 10 minutes in a room with Bianca, you'd love it too.